Hey besties, I just woke up, so give me a minute. Take off my shoes. Got my water. And good morning. Whoa. Just seen my face today for the first time. Listen, don't judge me, guys. So, I don't know if I'll post this video first or randomly, but I woke up and I thought, I've just been having so much fun and I haven't been working at all. Why am I being so lazy? This is from my car accident. Yes. Not like a scar. It's from, what do you call it? Like nerve damage to my face. Now it looks like I'm getting some kind of weird wrinkles on one side. How vain am I? I guess we'll find out. Well, here is the shisha that we were smoking last night. This is Tofa shisha, apple shisha. We need to prop this camera up. I'm moving around too much. No. This is terrible. I think I just had it right the first time. It's a strange side view. I hope it's okay with everyone. You're propped up next to the Holy Quran right there. It's this giant copy of the Quran. I haven't seen one like that before. It's really cool. So I'd like to introduce someone. This is Bob. Everyone say hi to Bob. I made friends with Bob. Bob is the ashtray. I made friends with Bob when I was still in Australia on the phone. Anyway, Bob's been getting some good use, let me tell you. Anyway, I'll turn the camera for a second and then I'll turn it back and we'll have a chat. If you're not bored, if you haven't left. So, there is something just absolutely relaxing about Egypt. I don't know how to say it. Like, my biggest take home from moving to Egypt is that life isn't stress free, of course. No, no. There are like completely different stresses here, probably like major ones even that you couldn't even imagine in Egypt. But the overall feeling when you're in Egypt is that you've like died and gone to heaven. I don't know how else to say it. Never in my life have I ever felt so relaxed. Never. Hang on a minute, I don't want to get demonetized. I'm not doing anything wrong. Stop. Like you got no idea, guys. If my throat's a bit raspy, it's because I've been having a lot of shisha. Um, Surprisingly, the shisha has not affected my asthma, and I am a heavy asthmatic, and I'm not recommending it for anyone. Maybe my lungs have healed over the years, but um, yeah, what was I talking about? Never in my wildest dreams could I imagine feeling as relaxed as I have felt since coming to Egypt. Egypt is so different from Australia in this way. Like in Australia, I felt my whole life, I just felt like this overwhelming anxiety. I've even previously been on medication for the anxiety, which is really common. And since coming to Egypt, I've had a completely different feeling within myself. I really don't know how to explain it. I just feel like it's not like before there were a lot of pressures on me. Like I literally just felt anxious even if I was having a good day. But here, I don't. There's something about the way of life in Egypt that, I'm speaking from a privileged position, obviously. Like some women have to get up and, do a 20-hour day for survival here. Do you know what I mean? Like, not everybody's situation is the same. So I don't have to work. I can stay at home or I can work. And it's not a financial thing either. It's like, oh, I hate that I can't tell you how I'm feeling. I just feel like this massive weight has been lifted off me. No fat jokes, please, ladies. Um, one second, one second. You know, and it's not about happiness either. I was happy before in Australia. It's not like I was chronically depressed or anything. I mean, I have dealt with depression, but I just, all the feminists are going to hate me for this. They're going to hate me. And again, it's not about money, it's about what people warned me about. Everybody warned me and said, you're a feminist. You don't want to go to a place where, men dominate and, have higher position in society, so to speak, because it won't be good for you and you'll hate it and all this. And, I was warned by friends and I was warned by family, don't come, it'll be terrible, you'll be trapped, rada, rada. I have never felt so free in my life. The sense of freedom I have here is phenomenal. And I don't mean freedom to go down the street. I need permission for that. Okay. That is a correct assumption. I mean, freedom to be myself, freedom to relax, freedom from financial pressures and stresses, freedom from. Okay, bye. Oh, God. One second. I'm going to say something. That was just whale coming in for a Cleopatra. If you're from Egypt, you know what a Cleopatra is. Anyway, apparently Marlboros are more, sought after, but Cleopatras are affordable, so whatever. I don't mind them. Occasionally. Um, what was I saying? Sorry. I'm glad the camera was facing this way because, it's first thing in the morning. Not everybody's dressed. Um, what was I saying? Yeah, this whole don't go to Egypt if you're a feminist because the patriarchy and all this kind of thing. I know a lot of my audience is women. I know a lot of my audience are feminists, and I'm not arguing against feminism. I feel like I'm still a feminist, but there's something about living in a patriarchy as a woman that I can honestly, genuinely say I appreciate. I appreciate not just that a man takes care of me. Women get taken care of in feminist societies too. I mean, it's no longer my responsibility to worry. It's no longer my responsibility to take the burden of stress on myself. And I feel like in a feminist society, a lot of the time women don't have 50-50 burden of stress. A lot of the time they have like a much higher percentage. And even then, like, what's this 50-50 shit? Like, I don't mean financially. I mean, as women, why do we even have to worry about anything? Why? Like, since moving to a patriarchy, all I can think is, how? I don't want to swear. How do I. Oh, gosh. Like, women have pretty big responsibilities here, okay? It's so hard to put into words. Not having to wear the pants as a woman, metaphorically speaking, has given me the greatest sense of. I can't even. I can't even. I know you ladies, you're gonna hate me for it. I absolutely, so far, love living in a patriarchy. I love it. I love it. I feel taken care of. I feel secure. I feel safe. I feel loved. I feel stress free. And again, I'm not saying, you know, people associate money with stress. I'm not talking about finances. Absolutely not. I'm just talking about the burden of life itself. Like, trigger warning, I would even go so far as to say living in a feminist society, I considered, you know, not continuing myself, if you know what I mean, on quite regular occasion. I felt like there's so much pressure on me, so much anxiety, and all that terrible feeling is gone here. I just feel relaxed. Like Egypt is such a vibe. It's so different here. It's so different. I can't put it into words. It's just like I was ready to wreck myself. I'm not joking. I'd had enough of life in general. And excuse me for a minute. I took a massive chance coming here. Massive. Huge. Like everybody told me not to. Let's close Bob. He's done for now. Let's get this camera right. I just feel so good. So good. I just and like I said, I feel like the thing that's making me feel good is what people warn me about. You know, be careful, you're a woman, you don't want a man to control you, or a family, or a system, or a patriarchal society. Like I was so afraid to come because of that. But when you're in it, when you're in this society, when you're in this family, when you're in this marriage, when you're in this country, when you're in this culture, it doesn't feel that way. It feels safe. It feels secure. I feel happy. And I wonder, I wonder how many women who are feminists like myself, and I still consider myself to be a feminist. I won't go into why because that would be a whole video, but when you hear about something and you're on the outside of it, maybe it's a bit frightening, or you think, oh, I would never do this, or I would never accept that, or whatever. But then when you actually experience it physically in life, I wonder how many other ladies would actually feel the same way as me if they weren't sold a certain brand of feminism. And I know that it's not going to be a popular thought, but I'm going on my own personal experience. And it's not from a biased point of view, because my biased point of view was me coming from Australia as a feminist with all these ideas that this would be bad, or this would be bad for me, or this would be something I wouldn't accept, or something I wouldn't enjoy, or I would hate it, or I would feel trapped, or whatever. But yeah, I don't feel that way. I feel like the whole weight of the world has been lifted off me. And I feel like I wish other women could experience that, even for a day, to have a different perspective about, you know, living differently or living as a feminist in a patriarchal society, or compare it to living in the West. And of course, everybody in Egypt doesn't have the same experience. There are less traditional areas and towns, there are less traditional families. Um, Personally, again, I'm coming from my own biased point of view, but I feel like this town is particularly religious, particularly conservative, and as is the family. And yeah, from a Western feminist perspective, before I came here, that was kind of a bit daunting for me. And I felt like I felt like it could be a problem, but it's not. It's the opposite. Um, I'll give you an example. Um, I'm not permitted to leave the house alone. And I knew that before coming. I knew that would be a rule, okay? Because this is a conservative marriage, a conservative family, conservative town, blah, blah, blah. Um, and I had this idea when I came that, I could convince my husband to let me go out alone, for example. And I think probably I could convince him, if I, went on and on and on and on about it. Um, Maybe under certain circumstances, but I don't feel trapped and I don't feel isolated. And when I go out, I only go out with my husband. And from a feminist point of view, from the type of feminism that's sold to women today, that sounds horrific, not being able to go out alone. But all I can say is when I go out with my husband, I feel safe. I feel happy that he's coming with me. I want him to come with me. And it almost feels like, I don't know, like I feel the love more. Do you know what I mean? Like I feel protected. I feel like there's this protective dynamic within the marriage that, and within this society, that if your husband doesn't want you to go out alone, that it's a positive experience because you feel protected. I don't know how else to say it. And I'm not saying like it's too dangerous to go out alone. I don't actually feel that way. I feel like the town is very safe and people are very, very respectful here, particularly of women. That's been my personal experience. Like, for example, if, you know, when I've been out with my husband and say I waited outside a shop because I'd already been out there and there were quite a few steps to get in and out. So once I got out, I was just kind of like sitting on my walking frame. I didn't want to go back in again. So he was in the shop and I was outside the shop. So it appeared as if I was alone, okay? Nobody accosted me. Nobody was inappropriate. Nobody was disrespectful. I wasn't in danger. Like, um, you know, I was approached by a man, an older man who, wanted to say hello, and that was fine. Nobody, how do I say it? Like, it's not like it's not safe to go out as a female. Um, but yeah, I feel happy. I feel secure. I feel, and I know, like, in the audience, there's going to be a whole bunch of feminists, and they're going to just have the ideas I had before I came here. And they're going to be thinking, you're crazy. I would never do that. But I'm telling you, when you're in the thick of it, it doesn't feel bad. It feels good. Genuinely. I like it. And I feel like it's one of those things that if you don't experience it, then you don't really understand. And yeah. So my experience here has been that's not in English.
What?
No, that's not in English.
Yes.
Anyway, I have to go now, so I'll post this randomly and yeah, okay. Bye besties.